The American people woke up to chaos. A federal funding freeze threw the country into disarray. Essential services faced disruption. From healthcare to education, the impact was immediate and far-reaching. Panic rippled through communities as the machinery of government ground to a halt. The funding freeze wasn't just an inconvenience, it was a crisis. Medicaid payments stalled, jeopardizing health care for the most vulnerable. Senior centers closed their doors, leaving the elderly without critical meals. Special education programs lost funding, disrupting the education of children with disabilities. The public outcry was swift and furious. Governors, both Democrat and Republican, condemned the move. In the eye of the storm, President Trump deflected blame. He denied involvement, claiming he hadn't even seen the memo authorizing the freeze. Instead, he pointed fingers at Elon Musk and Russell Vought, two figures increasingly seen as wielding outsized influence within his administration. The question on everyone's mind, how did we get here? Section 4. Vaught's Vision Project 2025 and the Shrinking State. To understand the funding freeze, one must understand Russell Vought. As the head of the Office of Management and Budget, Vought holds the federal purse strings. A staunch conservative, he's the architect of Project 2025, a radical plan to drastically downsize the federal government. The funding freeze, many believe, is just the first step in Vought's grand scheme to dismantle the administrative state. Section 5. Musk's shadowy influence and the severance offer. Sham. Elon Musk's involvement is more opaque, but no less significant. The enigmatic billionaire, often seen as a visionary, has a knack for staying in the limelight. Yet, his behind-the-scenes maneuvers are equally compelling. The tech mogul, known for his disruptive ventures, reportedly enjoys direct access to Trump and wields considerable influence within the Office of Management and Budget. This relationship has raised eyebrows, given Musk's history of leveraging political connections to advance his business interests. Rumors swirl of a close associate of Musk's placed in a strategic position within the agency, shaping budget decisions from the shadows. This associate, whose identity remains shrouded in mystery, is said to be instrumental in pushing policies that favor Musk's enterprises. Adding fuel to the fire is the controversy surrounding the fake severance offer for federal workers affected by the freeze. The offer, which promised generous payouts, turned out to be a mirage, leaving many workers in a state of uncertainty and frustration. Critics argue that the offer, light on details and heavy on patriotic platitudes, is nothing more than a cynical ploy to mask the administration's true intentions. They claim it was designed to placate the workforce while diverting attention from the deeper issues at play. The severance offer controversy has sparked protests and debates, with many calling for greater transparency and accountability from those in power. Echoes of warnings. Musk's predictions materialize. What's perhaps most unsettling is that none of this should come as a surprise. Musk's predictions, once considered far-fetched, are now unfolding before our eyes. The unrest and dissatisfaction among the populace are clear indicators of the turbulent times he foresaw. During Trump's initial campaign, Musk himself warned of temporary hardship and overreaction as necessary evils on the road to economic stability. He spoke of a period where the nation would face significant challenges, but ultimately emerge stronger. He even predicted that those reliant on government funding would be angered by the administration's policies. The cuts and reallocations were bound to create friction, especially among those who depended heavily on such support. These predictions, once dismissed as the musings of an eccentric billionaire, now ring with an eerie prescience. Musk's foresight into the socio-economic landscape has proven to be remarkably accurate, leaving many to wonder what other predictions he made that might still come true. Section 7. Shadow government or rogue actors. The erosion of trust. In recent years, the concept of a shadow government has moved from the realm of conspiracy theories into mainstream discourse. The idea that there are unseen forces pulling the strings behind the scenes has gained traction, especially in the wake of recent political events. The funding freeze and its aftermath have raised troubling questions about transparency and accountability within the Trump administration. Many are left wondering who is really in control and whether the elected officials are merely figureheads. Critics point to a shadow government operating outside established channels, suggesting that there are powerful individuals and groups who wield influence without any public oversight. These actors operate in the shadows, making decisions that affect millions without any accountability, with figures like Musks and Vought calling the shots. Their involvement raises questions about the role of private interests in public governance. Are these individuals acting in the best interest of the public, or are they driven by their own agendas? The irony is palpable. Trump, who built his political career on railing against the deep state, now finds himself at the center of similar accusations. His administration is often criticized for its lack of transparency and the influence of unelected advisors. Now presides over an administration shrouded in secrecy and driven by unelected influences. The lack of transparency and the presence of these shadowy figures have only fueled public suspicion and distrust. The long-term implications for public trust in government are deeply concerning. If the public continues to believe that their government is being controlled by unseen forces, the very foundation of democracy could be at risk. Restoring trust will require a commitment to transparency and accountability from all levels of government.